Hey, welcome back to YT Finance, and today we are talking about the latest news updates for SoFi Technologies. And remember, this is the channel where I went to business school, so you didn't need to. And in this particular video, we will be analyzing many articles. First, we're going to do a quick recap of the top investors who are investing very large amounts of money into SoFi Technologies. Then we're going to move on and talk about why SoFi Technologies stock is trending right now and where it could go in the future. So we're going to be going over their latest price predictions and price targets among professionals. Then we're going to talk about how investors have good reason to continue their optimism if they are invested into SoFi Technologies, and we will be going over whether or not this company is a buying opportunity, a selling opportunity, or a holding opportunity. But guess what? Spoiler alert, in our last article that we are going to be analyzing, this author says to buy SoFi stock, and of course I will be giving my educated opinion about this article. So for more news updates on SoFi Technologies, remember to go and smash that like button right now, comment your thoughts down below, subscribe if you are new, and without further ado, let's jump right into today's stories. If you're not familiar with SoFi Technologies, this is a fintech company or a financial technology company that offers their consumers an all-in-one inclusive digital app where they have access to various financial services and financial products. In the last video, we talked about a few large institutional investors and backers of SoFi Technologies, and in this video, I will give you a more rounded view of how many large institutions are betting on this company and how they believe it will do well over the long term. Right now, the SoFi stock price trades at $5.46, while analysts believe the company is undervalued right now, or arguably undervalued, because it should be worth anywhere between $6 and $11 over the next 12 months. One of the large institutions that invest into SoFi Technologies that I didn't mention in the last video would be companies like BlackRock and Citadel. And if you know what either of those two companies are or what they do, you know that this is a very big deal. We also went over Red Crow Capital and a few others, but again, I want to reiterate that this company has a very large institutional backing from very respected institutions. The top holder right now is Vanguard, ever since SoftBank fully sold off all of their shares. Originally, they only sold around half of their shares, and then they decided to liquidate all of their shares. Now, the reason they did this was not because there was something intrinsically wrong with SoFi Technologies, but rather there was something fundamentally wrong with SoftBank, and SoftBank was strapped for cash, so they needed to liquidate a plethora of their investments so they could get quick cash to pay off any debts or make up for any losses, because they did not have a very good Q2 or Q3. But now we're left with the top 5 holders of SoFi Technologies, which in the number one spot, like we talked about, is Vanguard, which currently holds around 66.8 million shares, and they recently purchased 4.84 million shares. In our number 2 spot, for an institutional holder and backer of SoFi, we have BlackRock, which owns a total of 31.67 million shares, and they recently purchased in Q3 around 826,805 shares. In third place, we have Silver Lake Group, which did not add or take away from their overall position in SoFi Technologies, so their allocation stayed consistent at 31.15 million shares. Then in the 4th spot, we have State Street, ticker symbol STT, which currently holds around 11.73 million shares, and they added around 48,717 shares during Q3, while Geode Capital Management has a total of 10.97 million shares, very close to State Street, and they purchased over 706,000 more shares during Q3. So again, this company has a lot of institutional backing, and if you didn't watch the last video, that is a quick recap along with some new information and news updates for you. But here is what I really want to get into. I want to get into why SoFi stock is trending right now and why so many investors are very bullish on this overall company. So the reason why so many investors are bullish and positive and have such a good outlook for this company over the short term and the long term is that recently the company has found some positivity in the stock market, which then translated to the stock surging around 10.8% over the last month. Investors think that this is the beginning of a big turnaround for this company, so they believe that the company could be headed upwards during the near term. But of course, I have my problems with that as well. If you all know me, you know that my current thesis for the company is that the company will only rebound fully when the overall economic environment starts to rebound and not before. And I mainly think about this and see this from their earnings per share, which you can see on screen. I won't get into the individual details. You all can read the article in front of you, or you can click on the source links in the description if you want to read these articles for yourself, because I'm only taking the meat from these articles, adding my educated opinion, and then I want to make you aware of this. So their earnings per share, also known as their EPS, hasn't been that good or that positive over the last few quarters, but they are making a huge improvement in them if you can compare their quarter over quarter in terms of their EPS. The reason we know this is because the company is slowly tracking toward their profitability mark, which is currently at the end of 2024. This company is supposed to become profitable on a generally accepted accounting principles basis, also known as a GAAP or a GAAP basis. And once they reach that, I think that's when the stock price is really going to start appreciating overall. But what do other professionals think about this company? Well, if we look at Zacks rank, they actually believe this company is a holding opportunity right now, so they give it a number 3 spot as a hold. And if we compare them to some other institutions actually have a buy rating for this overall company. And because various institutions are either saying to hold this company or to buy this company, this has caused investors to become excited and invigorated, so they decided to buy more stock, and that's what caused the increase of over 10% over the last month. Another really good positive that I personally am excited about, and spoiler alert, I do own SoFi Technologies in my personal portfolio, but I only have around a 4% allocation to it because I don't over allocate myself to singular risky growth companies. I have a lot of other blue chip companies and ETFs that make up the majority core holdings of my portfolio, but once in a while I will dabble into a more experimental or risky company like SoFi Technologies. But compared to many other companies, SoFi I would say is much safer than other companies such as Excella or Mullen Automotive or others like that. But the part of the article that I want to highlight is their increase in revenues, and this is what I think is really going to excite investors over the long term, and I'm just going to quote it straight from the article, which says, in the case of SoFi Technologies Inc., the consensus sales estimate of $427.51 million for the current quarter points to a year-over-year change of over 49.7%. The $1.54 billion and $2.12 billion estimates for the current and next fiscal years indicate changes of over 56% and 37.8% respectively, end quote. This is going to invigorate investors, and it shows that this company is rapidly scaling the overall amount of money that they are bringing in, and that's exactly what investors want to see. So when this quarter ends, that is going to be very positive. It shows that this company is scaling their revenue at over 49.7% for this quarter. Now, for the entire year, we can see that their overall revenue increased by around 56%, and the year after that, it's supposed to grow by 37.8%. Now, I do think that is somewhat of a large drop in their overall revenues, but it doesn't matter. As long as they are scaling over a 30% CAGR, this company is rapidly expanding, and that's what investors are really going to start paying attention to. Now, the only problem here is that it's not all sunshine and rainbows, because apparently SoFi Technologies is actually graded an F rating for a particular financial metric, and that is the current stock premium compared to their peers. Unlike many other companies, SoFi Technologies can be looked at as trading at a premium, or it can be looked at as trading at a discount, depending on what assumptions you make when you perform a DCF model to know the intrinsic value of the company. Some professionals believe the company is undervalued right now because it should be trading between $6 and $11, while other professionals believe it's overvalued and is trading at a great premium compared to their competition. But I would say the answer is probably somewhere in the middle. And although I think that the company is trading at a slight premium, I don't think it's a very large premium. And if you are a long-term investor, you need to keep in mind that that premium is going to be based on the future cash flows and revenue and earnings that the company is supposed to bring in. So you're paying for this company now at somewhat of a premium so it can grow into its valuation. And that's kind of the whole point of growth stocks. You want to buy the company now, hold it for the next 5 to 10 years, and then once the company actually catches up to their stock price, price, that's when it's really going to start to appreciate. And that's the type of investor I am, and I think right now could be a great time to buy SoFi Technologies as long as you don't overexpose yourself to it, because that would be gambling and not investing. You should have many different stocks in your portfolio, each from a particular sector of the stock market, on top of very good blue chip or ETF or index funds or mutual funds or whatever you decide to invest into. These risky singular speculative growth companies should only make up a fraction of your overall portfolio, which is why Zacks Rank at the end believes this company is a hold rating, and they suggest that the company of SoFi Technologies and their stock price will perform in line with the overall stock market in the near term. And I would say that is exactly what I believe, and I would think that investors should want to invest into this company if they have some room in their portfolio for a little bit of risk that could really pay off in the long term. So now that SoFi Technologies is trending, why are so many investors continuing the overall optimism for this company, and is it overhyped? Well, over the past year, I would say probably not. I would say the overall hype of SoFi Technologies has died down, considering that the SoFi stock price has dropped by around 80% over the past year. However, despite this, the company still shows that they have good growth prospects of their business, despite headwinds from the economy such as rising interest rates and inflation, and being in a market of a weakened economy. So I would think that the majority of you would probably agree with me that originally this company was somewhat overhyped in the beginning, that it should not be trading at such high price points of around $25 or even $15 compared to the overall revenues and earnings that they are bringing in. Right now, we are getting a substantial discount from what the company was trading at in the past, and eventually, when the overall stock market rebounds, I think this company will rebound as well. Another thing that investors are really excited about is the overall stellar growth of this company, particularly in regards to the members that they are acquiring. They are not only identifying and successfully attracting young high earners, but they are also stealing customers from other banks. For instance, during the third quarter, the company added around 424,000 new customers, and not all of these customers are new to banking. Some of these already had bank accounts with other banks, and then they moved their bank accounts to SoFi Technologies because they're extremely convenient, all-in-one inclusive digital app that offers them anything they could possibly want in terms of financial services and financial products, so they wouldn't have to go in and enter into a brick and mortar bank like the majority of legacy banks have. They actually have real branches and stores that investors have to go into. The only main competition for SoFi Technologies, I think, in this space would be a company like Ally Bank, which is also a stock that I personally own. But going back to SoFi Technologies, with the addition of over 400,000 new members, that puts their total members at 4.7 million, which would equate to a 61% increase from the year before. So this overall growth in membership tells us that this company is still growing, and it still has a lot of members to attract in the future. Now, I do want to say, ever since quarter 2 of 2021, we can see this growth is slowly trending downward. They had 113%, then it dropped to 96%, to 87%, to 70%, to 69%, to 61%, and this is just due to the law of large numbers. According to the credit rater Experian, the number of personal loan accounts for SoFi has grown by around 16% to 25.1 million. The reason we've seen a surge in personal loans, not just in SoFi Technologies, but many other financial institutions that offer personal loans, is due to investors and people doing something very smart. Essentially, people are taking out personal loans to pay off high-interest credit card debt. And the reason that they would do this is that credit card debt normally is substantially higher than any fixed rate that they will achieve in a personal loan. SoFi has achieved very solid growth this year, and they are improving their financial position quarter over quarter, which is something I'm very excited about. So where does this lead us? Should we buy, sell, or hold SoFi Technologies? Well, this particular author says to buy SoFi stock. However, I'm actually going to disagree with him, and I'm just going to say to hold this company for now. Considering the current stock market environment, we really don't know when the economy will bounce back. So in the meantime, you are better off investing into dividend stocks or something that's going to give you passive income or very safe blue chip companies. Now, once the economy starts to show signs of recovery, that's when you can further invest into risky singular growth stocks. But in the meantime, I find no reason why you wouldn't just hold this company just to practice proper risk management. Now, how would we know when this company and the overall economy are going to be rebounding? Well, I'm glad you asked. The first thing is that we need to identify when the Federal Reserve is going to ease ease up on their overall interest rate hikes. And if this happens, this will cause the overall economy, as well as SoFi Technologies and other financial institutions, to rebound in their overall stock price. However, the Federal Reserve will only ease up on their interest rate hikes once inflation actually gets under control. Some investors believe that this is coming relatively soon, but I'm not sure. I think the Fed will remain pretty hawkish throughout the year of 2023, but I could be wrong. In the meantime, until inflation gets under control, the Fed will increase interest rates, and even though they might pull back on their interest rate increases, who's to say when they will fully become more dovish? And once this does happen and the Federal Reserve will start to accommodate the overall stock market, that's when we're going to see a huge rebound in growth stock, technology stocks, finance stocks, and SoFi Technologies in particular. But while the stock price is falling, this could be a good opportunity for some investors, depending on your overall risk tolerance, your risk to reward ratio, your investment style, your strategy, and a plethora of other things like your age. This could be a good time to average down your average cost for SoFi Technologies, but not if you're already overexposed to this company. It's not going to do you any good exposing yourself or overexposing yourself to unnecessary risk of losses. One of the reasons why your portfolio is most likely in the red right now is not necessarily because the stock price is falling in the overall stock market, but rather because you may not have proper risk management in place. And this is one of the greatest reasons why my portfolio is still green right now. But at the end, the author says that with SoFi's growing membership, it's going to increase their revenue and their overall earnings per share, and that's why he says it's a strong buying opportunity in his book. But for me, I say to hold this company until the economy flips, and then that's when we would want to add to this overall company. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't invest while the stock market is falling. Rather, I'm saying invest into very fundamentally strong companies or ETFs or mutual funds or index funds that are much less risky and will build you wealth over the long term. Investing into an ETF, index fund, mutual fund, or blue chip company is going to be a much safer place to store your money during times of stock market downtrends. But I would love to hear your thoughts down below. Remember to go and smash that like button right now, comment your thoughts down below, subscribe if you are new, and I will see you in the next YT video.